What is up guys, it's Brian or Rehab 3000 here, and in today's video I want to talk about why Starfield didn't get the traction it deserved. I'm going to explain a few reasons on a few points on why this game didn't actually develop the way that the fan base wanted to, or the way Bethesda maybe shaped the game not to be. So to get started, the number one point is the high expectations. Now, when this game first launched, it was Bethesda's first new IP in over 25 years. So with Starfield, the expectations were sky high. Players were expecting a revolutionary experience, but the game didn't quite live up to the immense hype that, like its comparisons with Skyrim and Fallout 4, or even any of the Elder Scrolls or Fallout games. When the game first launched, it had a lot of technical issues and bugs. Like many Bethesda titles, we all know Starfield launched with a number of bugs and performance issues. I know when I first played it, I had a lot of performance issues where my FPS kept dropping on planets where it had absolutely nothing but enemies. But a lot of players experienced crashes, glitches, and long load times, which affected the overall experience of wanting to play the game. So it caused a lot of frustration for many players. And another thing is the lack of innovation. While Starfield offers a large universe to explore, a lot of us players felt that the gameplay wasn't enough. Again, it's doing what the space game No Man's Sky did. It just created generative worlds where you can't absolutely do anything. A lot of the universes felt a little bit too dry or nothing to explore. A lot of the times, you wanted to visit a planet, you have to dock, you have to then load up to that planet. To get off the planet, you have to dock your ship and you fly up into the air, and then you go back into another cutscene. So again, it was a felt of innovation. Another big thing was its uninspired narrative and characters. The main story and side quests in Starfield were often seen as generic, and it was lacking the depth that fans hoped for the game. We all know Fallout had amazing characters. We know that Elder Scrolls had memorable characters. The characters and dialogue felt flat. I feel like Bethesda was just ready to drop the game when it wasn't finished. It made the narrative less engaging and diminished the game's overall immersion, which a lot of us players, love that RPG immersion feeling. To go back to the topic of the exploration mechanics, the exploration aspect of Starfield, like traveling between the planets, it was heavily marketed by Bethesda. It was the execution of the thing. It felt really shallow to many of us, right? Space travel and planetary exploration were sometimes seen more as repetitive than exciting. Again, going back to my issue from earlier of the innovation, right? It was leaving me frustrated with the lack of meaningless interactions of many planets. Another thing too was the comparison again to No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky had already set the bar for space exploration. That game itself evolved significantly post-launch. Many of us players were expecting something around No Man's Sky, but again, it was developed by Bethesda, so Starfield didn't match up, especially when it came to the scope of exploration and dynamic content. And lastly, I think one of the points that a lot of people really wanted from a game like Starfield was like the lack of multiplayer or co-op play. I think a lot of us were disappointed by the absence of the multiplayer, that there wasn't any multiplayer or any co-op. It just made the Starfield experience more vast and lonely. In a space exploration game where, the universe could have been more exciting with friends, the lack of these features felt like a missed opportunity by Bethesda, especially because they pretty much had Fallout 76 to kind of operate from that backfield. But especially when other games in the genre are pushing for more online play, these factors combined could have contributed to Starfield not living up to its massive expectations that we really wanted the game to be. You tell me, is Starfield the game that you will remember in 5 years? If so, drop a comment down below with your thoughts on this. Go ahead and give this video a like and comment if you enjoyed it. Go ahead and subscribe, and thank you guys.